Welcome to Celestial Insights, a weekly podcast that brings the stars down to earth. I'm your host, astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks. My purpose is to provide practical, unique, and insightful guidance to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste, and on this episode, I will discuss the astrology for the week of March 1st, 2026. My Kepler College Transits class begins on April 4th. This is a comprehensive 5-week course about planetary transits and timing techniques. You'll learn about the fundamentals, how to organize and prioritize timing events, retrograde cycles, lunations, eclipses, and be able to put together a forecast. Now, this class is designed for intermediate students who already have a foundational understanding of the natal chart. This really is an intermediate course, so it's not for if you just know the basics. There's a link in the show notes. Use it to sign up today. It's limited with the number of students, so it might sell out. The theme of this week is Venus flytrap, and there are 3 big things I want you to think about as you navigate this week. The first is that Mars will enter the sign of Pisces from March 2nd through April 9th. Mars rules action, conflict, heat, fire. It's how we go for what we want, how we fight when we feel threatened. Mars gets us out of the bed in the morning. It is a motivating force. And now it's moving through the mutable, watery sign of Pisces. This is not clear, direct energy. It's tidal forces. You may feel like you're walking on a beach and the sun is out, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, it's pouring rain. And then 5 minutes later, it clears up again. Water signs are emotional, and this can be what's going on within people. Unexpected, sudden outbursts of energy, exuberance, rage. Motivation rises and falls. You get ready to tackle the world and then sit down and watch Netflix and chill. But the emotional temperature is changing quickly. We're not moving in a straight line. Now, at the highest expression, this energy can be fighting for about what you believe in. Pisces has associations with our belief systems. It's spiritual. It's moral courage. I'm getting the image of Norma Ray, Sally Field standing on that table in the movie, demanding fair treatment in the workplace. It's not fighting for ego, it's fighting for principle. Now, Pisces is also fog, and it can be disguising. You might not see what's coming. It's sneak attack energy when Mars is in Pisces. I'm getting the Trojan horse. Something is presented as compassionate or a gift, but underneath there is aggression and a desire to get something. And it may look like aid, but it's actually strategy. Or something spiritual is weaponized. A preacher who's a grifter may be exposed under this energy. If you're on water, pay attention. Pisces has associations with the oceans. A big wave may come out of nowhere, so just be mindful. The United States has positioned naval fleets to pressure Iran, and the temperature is high. And when we talk about global tensions, we also can't ignore that China wants Taiwan. And under Mars and Pisces, we may wake up and hear about something going on with one of these places or somewhere else where our eyes are focused in on conflict, potentially on seas. Now, it also can just be bad weather, a bad storm. But with Mercury retrograde in Pisces during this time, what comes to me is foggy thinking and miscalculations lead to something going sideways because all the facts weren't available. Someone pulls the trigger too quickly. The miscalculation leads to a bigger problem. And before Mars enters Pisces, it's something really interesting, and I'm interested to see how this shows up. The moon at 29 degrees of Leo, fixed fire. This is on the president's ascendant. It is the crisis and decay of the narcissistic individual, the person who thinks they have a divine right of kings to do whatever they want. And Mars in Aquarius is opposite that moon in Leo. So an action of a group Congress is talking about trying to prevent the president from just unilaterally deciding to send us into another war in the Middle East. At this crisis degree, will there be such a sudden urgency for conflict? And then Mars enters Pisces and it becomes flaccid. It's like you're getting ready to have intimate relations, sexual relations, and erectile dysfunction ruins the evening. Now, this can also be about, like, we may see a power outage. Aquarius has to do with technology and systems. A website could go down. There could be a power outage. There's collective tension is in the air. We may also be seeing protests around the world. There are people protesting all over. Leaders being challenged. So just be mindful this week that there could be sudden disruptions. The energy is really volatile. And what happens first is that the moon enters Virgo, and this could be our eye is on some kind of system. And then Mars enters Pisces. Very combustible energy, but the tone shifts when moon enters Virgo. What's broken? What needs to be fixed? How can we organize things? How can we contain and clean up what is going on? Is there a reason health is in focus? It could be hearing about another company that makes lunch meat having a bacteria problem in their plant. But the storyline is going to change. Now, on a personal level, your energy may feel inconsistent, inspired one minute, exhausted the next, fired up, needing to retreat. That's just the nature of this energy. So pause before reacting. Don't be too hard on yourself if you're not feeling motivated, if you're confused. Double check what you're hearing. Watch out for letting yourself get too carried away with fear and what we're seeing. Things can look on the brink one minute and then be diffused the next minute. Hold off before letting your anxiety get too out of hand until we see exactly how things are showing up. This is a time where having courage to face an unknown future can be really helpful. Using all your spiritual tools to stay clear, stay grounded, and understand what you can control and what you can't. I love the Wise Skies digital astrology calendar. It puts the astrology right in the palm of your hand. Planetary transits, moon phases, and retrogrades, so you can plan with the cosmos, not against them. I use it to choose the best times for vacations, work projects, launches, and rest days. You'll get clear daily guidance and some links to deeper resources so that you always know what's happening and how to work with it. My collaborator and friend, Tiffany Herlick, adds more to it each year. Grab the 2026 digital astrology calendar with my coupon code ABC2026 for a $10 discount. The link is in the show notes. The next thing I want to make you aware of is that we have the lunar eclipse at 12 degrees of Virgo on March 3rd. This is not subtle energy. Lunar eclipses are big bursts of energy where all is revealed on an axis. The sun is in Pisces, the moon is in Virgo. Virgo rules systems, infrastructure, associations. It's got farmland and labor. The maiden is a Virgo topic. We don't pay attention. It's what keeps machines running, what is just expected to be there. Until something is broken, a lot of times we don't pay attention to Virgo things. But when they're not there, oh my God, the organization can fall apart. And we have the south node and the moon together during this eclipse. And the south node is like a scoop that pulls things out from underneath. It's like tilling the land so that we can see what's underneath. It's pulling things up and tossing it over so we can see what's buried in the details. Now, the moon rules the people, so the information that's coming up so that we can actually see what's going on and take action. It makes perfect sense to me that more and more of the Epstein file information is surfacing as we move towards this eclipse. Virgo has associations with records, receipts, documentation, and we got it all dumped on us. And there are people who are spending time organizing it and sorting it so that people can make sense of it. The south node emptied out the drawer, and now people are putting it together into a comprehensive story. And 12 Virgo is really important because if you put it in the USA chart, it lands in the 9th house of long distance affairs, foreign policy, courts, judges, other countries. And at this time, we are at the larger Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0 Aries, right next to the IC of the US. Astrology is so literal. 2 days after the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, next door to the United States, Mexico has erupted into conflict over the cartel leader being taken out by the country of Mexico with help from the United States. What also happened is the Supreme Court ruled that the president did not have the authority for the tariffs he was imposing. His signature policy that the conditions were not aligned with the Constitution. And 12 degrees Virgo is in the 9th house of long distance affairs. The tariffs were put on goods coming into the United States, squaring the 12th degree ascendant that represents the people of the country, and our 12 degrees descendant, which represents our allies and open enemies. So this is an ongoing story. It was a sudden break. You cannot use those rules that you said you could for these tariffs. Companies want their money back. People want their money back. The grift is over about the president being able to manipulate the market, shake down countries and companies with leveraging, I'll change your tariff to this or that or the other thing. It's over. The sun in Pisces spotlighting how using these tariffs as a protection racket to funnel power and money to his own family and friends may get more exposure. Mechanisms revealed and then removed. That's Virgo. It can show you how things really work, show you the paperwork. So pay attention to what we are seeing. We're going to see more exposure around propaganda, intelligence gathering, and what allies and open enemies may have been doing behind the scenes. We may see something really shocking about communications and long-distance affairs, media and foreign relations. The sun is in the 3rd house of the United States chart, transiting. That can be media. The moon, foreign relations in the 9th house. And I've been calling Mercury retrograde in Pisces talking in your sleep. We may not hear things we're not supposed to. There's a big story about how a professor at Hunter College in New York said some really horrific things about African Americans on a Zoom call where she thought she was muted. She wasn't, and now there are calls for her to be fired. She made her statements right as Mercury was going into the shadow period, and then it made news right around the first quarter moon in Gemini. So people thinking they're in private when they're actually in public could be a theme going on. Leaks, hot mic moments, messages sent to the wrong person. Pisces dissolves boundaries, retrogrades, pull back the tape so that we can see what's underneath. Now let's talk about the Sabian symbols. The moon for symbol is a powerful statesman overcomes a state of political hysteria. So watch for politically savvy leaders making gains. James Tallarico in the United States is a Christian who's really making big gains with the people of Texas. He is able to speak to people who got caught up in the MAGA fervor and speak their language. He's running against Jasmine Crockett for the Senate seat. Watch for his ability to calm the room or attempt to do so. But remember, it's a full moon, so the sun and moon are in opposition. The leader and the people are not necessarily aligned. Politics is dirty business. Look to see if stuff is dredged up about him in order to combat him in this election. The sun symbol at 12 Pisces is a sword used in many battles is now in a museum. This is disarmament energy. This is why I think that although we may look like we're on the brink, there's something that has been used for conflict is no longer viable. The soldiers, the rank and file, which is represented by Virgo, knows all about the Epstein files, knows all about what these people have been doing, knows that the Simpsons guy was there on Epstein Island, and then has been telling us about what was coming. Trump being president, and one of the things on The Simpsons is that he was going to bankrupt the USA. Are we watching a pre-planned program in action? These are the things people are talking about behind closed doors, including the soldiers who are supposed to go to battle in another conflict in the Middle East, and they may at some point say, no, we're not doing it. Now, with Saturn, Neptune, and Aries, this can also be military coups somewhere or power struggles framed as spiritually or morally necessary. Look what's happened in Mexico. The cartel leader was taken out. Violence erupted in horrifying bursts. Power vacuums, when they happen under eclipse, the leader is dead. They don't stay empty for long. So there'll be more revelations, more demands for accountability, especially around systems that have been quietly exploding power. Now, personally, Virgo asks you to get organized, declutter. What do you actually need? What's functional in your life versus just taking up space? Clean out the drawer, clean out the inbox, clean out mental loops. And I've been telling people this consistently over the last couple of years. Have travel insurance. No matter where you are going, your trip might be canceled unexpectedly, and you don't want to lose all your money. Have supplies at home. Ideally, 2 weeks is what I suggest. If that's too much, please have at least 5 days. There were people in hotels on vacations who had nothing. Make sure you have snacks if you're somewhere. Like if you're on vacation, obviously you're not going to have 2 weeks of stuff, but have snacks in your room in case there's a power outage, unexpected storm, things like that. Europe is recommending 3 days of supplies for all households in case people can't leave. It's not fear-based is its preparation. We know the tension is rising between people and the governments and other governments. So can you be prepared and organized? Not panicked, just prepared. So if you can't go out, it's not an emergency. Look at your own chart. Where do you have Pisces and Virgo? This is the axis that's being activated. The sun is moving through Pisces. The moon is moving through Virgo. The sun is bringing awareness, spotlighting, illuminating things in your Pisces house. The moon is bringing emotional awareness in your Virgo house. What is coming to your conscious attention? What are you seeing clearly that you didn't before? Eclipses reveal, they close chapters. There's times where there's sudden breaks, where something just leaves your life, or you let go of something, or you just have an understanding where you see something, you can't unsee it. Just witness what is being exposed to you. And this moon phase family, the 27-month cycle where the sun and moon illuminate an ongoing story, began on September 2nd, 2024, where the sun and moon were both at 11 degrees of Virgo. The first quarter moon, where the sun was in Gemini and the moon was in Virgo, both at 12 degrees on June 2nd, 2025. Now we're at the lunar eclipse on March 3rd, sun in Pisces, moon in Virgo, both at 12 degrees. And the last quarter moon of this cycle, the sun in Sagittarius, the moon in Virgo, both at 9 degrees, will be on November 30th of 2026. So think back about what was going on in your life back in 2024. The last thing I want to make you aware of is that Venus will move into the sign of Aries from March 6th to March 30th. Venus rules love, beauty, harmony, and relationships. Its job is to unite, to bring people together, to create cooperation, reciprocity, and shared values. Now, when Venus is at home in Libra, people are honoring the social graces, collaborating, negotiating, mediating, trying to find the win-win. But Aries is the opposite sign, the sign of its detriment. And really notice what is happening as Venus is moving through that 29th degree of Pisces, the last degree of the last sign of the zodiac. This is where Venus is exalted. It's answering into Neptune, the higher octave of Venus, a higher love. It has a special seat at the table. And the last degree of crisis and decay can feel dramatic, mythic, someone Venusian, someone adored, idealized, almost sanctified, could fall off a pedestal. I am getting someone who's so high up in the sky, like, oh my God, my arm can't even reach that high. I'm feeling exposure. Watch for headlines. A beloved figure, a glamorous couple, a reputation that goes up in flames right before or right around when Venus changes signs and crosses into Aries on a world point of 0. Aries, a sign of its detriment, as far away from home as it can be. Beyonce's sun is at 12 degrees of Virgo. There may be something more coming up with her. We've already seen Jay-Z is in the Epstein files. Both of them have lost massive amounts of followers on Instagram. And will they have additional consequences? We shall see. But she is such a Venus and Pisces figure. Now, Venus in Aries is bold, it's magnetic, it's not waiting to be chosen, it chooses. This is desire that moves, passion, confidence. Venus in Aries says, I want this and I am going for it. This is Wonder Woman energy. Notice if you see more people with sharp haircuts. Aries is a sign like cutting energy. Red tones, clean lines, strong silhouettes. You may see more women taking up space, being unapologetic about their desires. Ask yourself, what do I want? What keeps the peace? Are they in conflict? What do I do to make everyone comfortable? Do I need to stop it? What do I actually desire? Can you be your own mythic hero? Venus in Aries supports self-initiation, starting something creatively, pursuing something or someone boldly, reclaiming your independence inside a relationship. This can ignite passion, especially if you're both willing to show up honestly. This can come up more easily, where instead of collaboration, we get competition. Instead of negotiation, we get standoffs. One person just wants what they want and they're not willing to make concessions. It can be harder to come to the table and find peaceful solutions, but not impossible. And with Mercury retrograde, words can spark conflict quickly. Something could be said impulsively that creates a rift. Aries moves fast and reacts before it reflects. On the world stage, we can see relationship battles out in the open, allies turning on each other, public breakups, legal fights over money or values. The first thing Venus does when it enters Aries is meet Neptune and then Saturn. Previously, we were running into Saturn before Neptune, before the conjunction on February 20 at this part of the sky. Now, for the first time in ages, we're getting Neptune before Saturn. The dream, the illusion, the inspiration, and the inflation expands, and then we hit Saturn, a brick wall. It gets a reality check. So some story may ignite quickly. It can be romanticized, dramatic, and then there is this structure, limitation, consequence, institution, authority comes into view. So this is why it's really a good time to be discerning about your relationships, what you value, what you are willing to fight for, or where are you just fighting to win? Do you really want to burn bridges? Do you want to take risks in love? Do you want to change your look? Claim your independence. These are some things you may be thinking about at this time. This episode is called Venus Flytrap. And when you look at a Venus flytrap, it's actually a beautiful symmetrical plant that has this reddish, almost inviting interior. It produces nectar that smells sweet. It doesn't chase. It sits there attractive and the fly comes to it. The Venus flytrap doesn't snap shut randomly. The insect has to touch the trigger hairs of the plant more than once. The plant waits for confirmation. Do you really want to do this? Do you really want to be here? And then it closes and the digestion begins slowly and quietly. Virgo rules the intestines and it has associations with the maiden. It's such a great Venus archetype and shadow. Venus is beauty, attraction, seduction, the thing that draws us in, draws us together. But when it's distorted, it can become bait where we covet something that we have no business going after. Attraction can become leverage and desire can be used for control. You can also think about the black widow spider where she mates and then she kills. The erotic and the lethal are intertwined, seduction and destruction in the same body. And think about Virgo being the young woman archetype, the pure one that looks innocent, and eclipses reveal what has been hidden behind systems. And we're talking about the Epstein files. Young women coerced and used as bait by these powerful elite men who collect evidence, consolidate power. This is honey trap energy. And that's where we get the Venus flytrap. It may look beautiful, harmless, like pleasure, but once you're inside, the mechanism closes and you can't get out. And with Mercury retrograde, secrets are going to leak. What being said becomes public, even though it was said in private. I just watched Blink Twice, which is very in line with the Epstein files, and it's on Amazon Prime if you want to check out that movie. Zoe Kravitz was the director. One of my greatest joys is helping people understand themselves more fully. If you're wanting to make sense of your past, recognize the patterns that have shaped you, or get clearer about the path ahead, astrology can offer real insight. In our sessions, we'll use your natal chart as a map. You don't need to know any astrology at all. You can book a single session for clarity or choose a cosmic coaching package if you'd like ongoing support as you grow and plan for the future. Book your sessions at astrologybyceleste.com on the services page. On Sunday, the word of the day is ferocity. We start the week with the moon in Leo, a fire sign that's dynamic, exuberant, wants to be seen. You may be noticing more red, and the Leo moon is sesquiquadrate Saturn and Neptune in Aries that are both at 1 degree. So there is something big going on, and sesquiquadrates can be like there's delayed action and there's frustration, but then you get to act. So think about how these countries have been waiting for taking action for the Olympics to end, and we may see something happening. On Monday, the word of the day is legion. The Leo moon squares Uranus in Taurus, both at 27 degrees, then opposes Mars in Aquarius. This is intense energy where people may be really stubborn, have an internal desire to engage in conflict. Then the moon moves into Virgo at 4:33 a.m. Pacific time. This is a great time to get organized, think about your health, how you can serve. There can be this tension where you're just so angry about the unfairness about something. Some people are going to decide to run for political office with this, or to decide to get a group together. A legion was typically made up of 4,000 to 6,000 soldiers in Rome that were highly organized, highly disciplined, that had structured power and strength in numbers. How can you create your own legion? What are the steps you need to take? Then Mars enters Pisces at 6:13 a.m. Pacific time, and people may be ready to take action, but focus. Avoid multitasking, because the moon hits the south node, and people who are multitasking, and this is at 8 Virgo, can go down the drain. On Tuesday, the word of the day is swarm. I got the image of someone running from a beehive, and that's what reminded me that this eclipse is to Beyonce's sun, is something being exposed. The Virgo Lunar Eclipse at 12 Virgo is at 3:37 a.m. Pacific time. Maybe it already happened that we're seeing on the surface with her losing massive amounts. She lost millions of followers on Instagram. Maybe there's more. We'll see. The moon in Virgo is opposite Mercury retrograde. And what information is coming out? On Wednesday, the word of the day is disgrace. Venus in Pisces is sextile Uranus in Taurus, both at 27 degrees. Now, sextiles are opportunities, and Venus is exalted, but there may be something about something. We're seeing images or videotapes. This may have to do with the big scandal or something else. And then the moon moves into Libra at 10:55 a.m. Pacific time. Now our energy turns to harmony, relationships, beauty. Maybe you just decide unexpectedly, I'm going to go to the museum. I'm going to go to a movie, indulge myself in art and culture. I'm going to get together with my partner or friends. If you had a conflict with the moon in Virgo where people can get real critical, You might be ready to restore balance now that the moon is in Libra. The moon that will oppose Neptune. On Thursday, the word of the day is requiem. The Pisces Sun trines Jupiter retrograde at 15 Cancer. Trines remove all restrictions. Now, Jupiter is retrograde, so retrogrades can bring some conflicts or disagreements, and the Libra moon is square Jupiter, so you may feel like big swirls of energy. Maybe with Pisces, something's always ending, that you're having some grief or letting go or saying goodbye to something or someone. Maybe you're letting go of something indulgent so that you can look physically better. On Friday, the word of the day is scandal. Venus enters Aries at 2:45 a.m. in the sign of her detriment. This literally could be you decide to quit eating sugar or alcohol or something like that. So Venus is in detriment. Your pleasure Venus is limited because you are taking action to go for what you really want. Venus will meet Neptune. You really have the vision. Saturn is discipline. This can be a great time to get some discipline. Now, the moon is in the opposite sign of Libra and is going to meet Chiron and Eris. So Chiron, the wounded healer, and Eris, the goddess of discord. So just be aware there may be some big scandal in the news, especially after the moon moves into Scorpio. It starts 8:01 p.m. Pacific time. A mystery may come to the surface. There's going to be some intensity. The moon is in detriment in this sign. So the moon and Venus, the two feminine principles, are both in detriment. This is a great time to engage in introspection or shadow work around your relationships. You can really strengthen intimate relationships. If you had something fall out of your mouth with Mercury retrograde or your partner did, have a really serious discussion about where it's coming from. Don't sweep it up to the under the rug. The Scorpio moon brings the shadows to our conscious attention so that we can deal with them. There's a disseminating moon at 1 Scorpio that starts at 11:23 p.m. Pacific time. What stories are being told? What secrets are revealed? What power dynamics are shown to us? What corruption comes to the surface? On Saturday, the word of the day is spill. This is Mercury retrograde goes Cazimi at 16 Pisces. Mercury and the sun are mutually applying to each other. Mercury is moving backwards. The sun is moving forward. There is death and rebirth symbolism. People are going to be knocking water glasses over on their computers and things like that. Stuff is just going to get wet and soaked out. There may be websites or things that are going down with this, but they will hopefully come back up pretty soon. It happens at 3:01 a.m. Pacific time if you are awake. Cazimi can be very fortunate as at a time where you get insights, intuitive downloads. You might want to pull an oracle or tarot card and you may get the answers that you are seeking. It's a great time to get quiet. Do a little meditation as Venus meets Neptune at 1 degrees and the moon in Scorpio will square Pluto in Aquarius. So a group of people are becoming aware of something or your shadows coming to the surface so that you can deal with them. This is a really important week. You can use it to get yourself organized together, recognize what is coming to your conscious attention. It's here for you to deal with. There's no need necessarily for you to be too hard on yourself. We're all human. We all make mistakes. I highly encourage people to listen to the song The Fool by Queen Hervey, and it's Qveen. It's a really great song. That's a Saturn Neptune song. So that's it for this week's episode. Feel free to email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com with any astrology and action stories, or let me know how the daily themes are playing out for you. Take care, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you for listening to Celestial Insights. To learn more about my work, please visit my website, astrologybyceleste.com, where I offer personal readings, horary consultations, cosmic coaching, group events, and classes to help guide people to higher levels of fulfillment. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at Astrology by Celeste. If you enjoyed Celestial Insights, please help others find the show. Follow, rate it 5 stars, or write a nice review. I would so appreciate it. I'm astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks, and I'll be back next week.